We're at the 25th Conference on Retrovirus and Opportunistic Infections. We're here with Roberto and Bruna. And we really appreciate you taking the time to visit with us because we always cover a number of the young investigators who are from wherever, who are learning and doing their work and doing the research under the guidance of people like yourself, who is a mentor. The concept is really important because you have to be, have a person to talk to and advised and counseled. So if we could start out with you, Bruna, on the issues. The presentation that you're giving is, just give us a real general sense of the program that you're giving, of the presentation.
Okay. I am Bruna. I am a junior PhD investigator. I work in Brazil, in Instituto Cara de Health, Institute of Technologies at Senai Cimatec, and Dr. Roberto Badaro is my mentor. And now I am working with a new recombinant protein for diagnosis of TB. Then it's my first time in CROI. I am here with my mentor, Dr. Roberto. We showed our work about this new recombinant protein for diagnosis of tuberculosis. Like is a screen test like PPD, but more sensitive than PPD, and is cheaper when we compare another tests like IGRIS, for example, and is more sensitive for patients with HIV positive, for example.
So when this is a skin test you rub on much the way the other test worked?
Yes. Usually is a classic test that we call PPD for skin tests that usually they call Mantoux test. And then the Mantoux test is a bulk of protein, undefined protein. And what Bruna did is start to test one new recombinant protein that we synthesized at IDRI in Seattle, Washington, with our colleague Steve Reed. We worked together over 30 years, myself, and then we took this opportunity to get this new recombinant protein and to test in HIV infected individuals. PPD has very low sensitivity, but this new recombinant protein, it's highly sensitive to detect HIV patient with tuberculosis. And Bruna...
So because the person's immune system is so suppressed,
they do not mount the T cell response. It's a T cell dependent.
So can you give some specifics? How low would your immune system be? How many T cells?
Well, it's been lower than 100 T cells.
Lower than 100?
T cells, that's patient with AIDS, really. In the
and you'd still be able to detect?
That's the new of this.
Right, that's really important.
Yes, and what Bruna will do, she will formulate that and make available as a product to be used in low income
countries, which is where the prevalence is.
Yes, Africa, even Brazil, we still have a lot of patients with HIV and tuberculosis.
And I know this is probably not important, but so this would detect any form, the multi-drug resistant, the XDR-TB, all of it would be detectable.
Yes, they will detect all spectrum of the disease.
Well, this is really important work, and I'm glad that we had the opportunity to talk with you all about it. Because, so when do you think this is this available now, or is it going to be ramped up? Or
we are trying to make
commercialize it.
Yes, no, like ELISA, because it's screen test only.
No, I mean commercialize.
Okay, sorry. yes. We can find a company to produce it in the future, in the small future.
In the next year will be available.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really important, and I think this is great. But the other thing I wanted to ask you, because apart from the importance of your work specifically, we're interested in knowing what got you into the field HIV and TB. Is this in science? Is this something you always wanted to do, or is this something that you decided you wanted to give back, or what is the reason for you getting into the field of that you're in?
I think for me it's very important to work with infectious diseases, because infectious diseases is a big problem in the world, then in Brazil too. Then the question is very important for us to have a test to detect TB and in patients with HIV positive, for example, because it's a problem in our country too.
So did you always like the idea of science, the work in science as a child, or did it just evolve?
Yes.
Because this is the most complicated disease there is.
Yes. I always appreciate the scientists. When I was in my graduation, I had the opportunity to work in a lab all day long, all the time, because I love the science. I like to be a scientist.
Great. Well, you have an energy, and I think that's what you need. And the other thing too is a lot of times people are discouraged easily. There's a lot of failures you have in science, and if you can't take the defeat of failure, it's going to be profound.
Yeah, the best thing that we senior can do is really find a young investigator. They are very exciting to do the work. She's a very hard worker. She's very young and has already over than 40 publications already. So
Wow.
scientific publications. That's why I
great.
think I got the best.
All right. Well, I think you're pointing out something there, because I've noticed that some of the better doctors, look for the people like yourself who have a certain, excitement about the field, because if you don't, it's just work.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I all the years, I like to report this, that all the years I've talked to people and interviewed them over the years, they have always been people that were excited, passionate, interested in all of this, and come to meetings like this where they can learn, integrate other things into their work and know more about the big picture. And I've only run across one man who did not say anything, but I said, so what do you do when you go back home at night? He says, I just kick back and watch TV. I said, don't you ever think that you might be a part of a cure or something? No, it's just a job. And I thought, this is the only person I have ever, over 25 years, have interviewed that said that. And but bench science is a little different.
Yes.
But this is what his view was, is that it wasn't important. And I said, well, okay. But no, everybody other than that has been excited about the work and excited to come to meetings like this. And the man that did the presentation last night, the musical
Yes.
thing,
Yes.
I told him that was so good because everybody needed to see this.
Yeah, we should get zero. I agree with him totally. We should get zero.
But we need to have that kind of enthusiasm
Yes.
from the people, and the
Yes.
thank you that he gives to you
That-
folks for doing the
That's
work.
the environment that we have at Cimatec. Cimatec is a very high technology place in Salvador, Bahia. I used to be a professor at Cornell University, UCSD. I was a professor there, and also in Harvard. But the environment that I have in this place in Brazil, it's so wonderful because young people, they're very excited. They don't care about the time. They work hard. They try to find solutions for the question that we ask it. So I'm so happy that I could in my end of my career find young people that can
We
really
have to do that. Yeah.
work hard.
Right. We've got a whole generation of doctors who are rounding the end of the career, and we have to find people like yourself who can get out there and fight and stand on your own eventually, where you feel like you're able to give back eventually like others did. It's a kind of an evolving situation where you can learn and then be taught and then teach others.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you,
I
Fred,
really
for having the
appreciate it.
opportunity to give the
Yeah.
interviews. Thank you very
And
much.
it's a great,
Thank you.
great prospect of where you're going with that. I look forward to seeing that. So every year I learn something new about, and this is wonderful what you're doing.
Thank you so
Thank
much.